Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at 2021 Amy's number one. So the problem is, Zhou and Cho are practicing their 100-meter sprints by running 6 races against each other. Zhou wins the first race, and after that, the probability that one of them wins a race is 2/3 if they won the previous race, but only 1/3 if they lost the previous race. The probability that Zhou will win exactly 5 of the 6 races is m over n, where m and n are relatively prime positive integers. Find m plus n. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight some key facts they give us. Zhou wins the first race, and we're looking for the probability that Zhou will win exactly 5 of the 6 races. So I wrote down some probabilities of Zhou winning his races. Essentially, what this is telling us is if you win a race, the probability that you have the same outcome in the next race is obviously going to be higher than the probability that you have the opposite outcome. So because Zhou won the first race, the probability that he wins the next one is obviously going to be 2/3. However, if he loses the race after that one, that comes to the probability of 1/3. So these are the two cases I wrote down. Either Zhou loses one of the 4 in between races, or Zhou loses the last race. So because of these 6 races, we have to choose 5 of them for Zhou to win. And because he already won the first race, the next 5 races we have to choose 1 for him to win. 1 for him to lose and 4 for him to win. I'm just gonna have these, each of them represent a race. We're already told that he wins the first race, so this is already fixed. We don't really have to worry about that. Okay, so Zhou loses one of the 4 in between races. So we're going to try to find the probability that he loses one of these races. This is going to have a different probability than if he loses the last race. So let's just assume he loses the 4th race, and we can multiply it by 4 later to account for each one. So if he loses this race, he's gonna win the rest of these. So because he just won the first race, obviously he's gonna have a higher chance of winning the next race. And yeah, so basically what this problem is saying is your previous outcome is always going to determine the probability of your next chance of winning or losing. So he just won these 3 races, so obviously it's unlikely that he's gonna lose the next race. So this is a 1/3. Now that he lost, it's unlikely that he wins, so this is also gonna be a 1/3. However, now that he won, it's likely that he's going to win again, so it's 2/3. So the probability that Zhou loses one of the 4 in-between races is going to be 2/3 to the power of 3 times 1/3 squared. However, because this is only for the loss being in the 4th race, we have to multiply it by 4 to account for this, or this. Okay. So now that we have the probability for the first case, we can move on. So this is the probability that Zhou loses the last race, which we didn't focus on for that one. So 4 wins. Obviously, it's going to be 2/3 for all 4 of them, because he's just winning. Now, obviously, it's unlikely that he loses, so that is 1/3. And this is going to be 2/3 to the power of 4 times 1/3. And we don't have to multiply it by like 4 or anything because there's only one spot, and that's the last race. So the reason we have to have these 2 different cases instead of having one is because if he loses one of these 4 in between races, it's always going to affect the next one, as you can see. However, if he loses the last race, it's not going to affect anything else because that's the last one. So obviously the probabilities are different. So now we're going to just add these up. 2/3 to the power of 3 times 4 over 9. 16 over 81 times 1/3, which is 32 over 243 plus 16 over 243, 48 over 243, and these are both divisible by 3, so it's 16 over 81. And obviously it's going to be in the form m over n, where m and n are relatively prime positive numbers, so we have to find m plus n. The answer of Aime 2021's number 1 is going to be 97. Thank you.